Hunters simultaneously hurled their spears through the air. The moment they hit the ground, the sharp spear tips instantly formed an invisible barrier. The charging yak herd was caught completely off guard, immediately panicking and turning back to flee. But they had no idea that ahead lay a sheer cliff. By the time they realized it, it was too late. Watching his companions fall one by one, the Yak King finally realized they'd been trapped. To avenge his fallen herd, the Yak King charged furiously toward the hunters. Along the way, he collided with a rather frail young man named Jack, who happened to be the tribal chief's son. Seeing his son in danger, the chief hurled his spear with all his might, piercing deep into the bull's belly. But the enraged beast didn't stop, determined to drag Jack down with him. Fortunately, Jack didn't fall to his death immediately. Instead, he grabbed onto the cliff face and hung suspended in midair. But he was more than 30 feet from the top, making rescuing his son no easy task. His father shouted himself hoarse, telling his son to hold on, but his frail arms couldn't support his entire body weight. Under everyone's horrified gaze, Jack plummeted toward the bottom once again. His father called out from the mountaintop for a day and a night, but never heard his son's response. Realizing the truth, the father was devastated with grief and could only accept the reality of his son's death. What they didn't know was that fate had smiled upon Jack once more. He hadn't fallen into the abyss. This time, he had crashed hard onto a protruding ledge. The smell of rotting flesh attracted a vulture. The scavenger was drawn to the scene. It landed on Jack's body and viciously pecked at his lips. The sharp pain jolted Jack awake. But when he looked down, Jack was terrified by what he saw. Staring at the bottomless chasm below, Jack could only try to climb upward, but unexpectedly, his foot slipped, and he found himself dangling in midair once again. This time, there was no foothold, and only exhaustion and death awaited him. Just when all hope seemed lost, a violent storm suddenly struck. Torrential rain cascaded down the cliff face. Jack instantly saw a glimmer of hope for survival. As more and more water accumulated, he gritted his teeth and held on until the very last moment. Finally, when his strength was completely drained, Jack suddenly let go.